Welcome back, Sam's Army. We got the Summer Soccer Silly Season episode 5 here. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to focus almost exclusively on the U.S. men's national team and the win, the very close win we just got against Costa Rica in the Gold Cup quarterfinals on penalties. That will be the main thing we talk about. We will also quickly hit stoppage time with Ivan Toney's best bets and everyone's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now, quick intro question for the Blads here, and it's the same one for both of you. We'll start with you, Mitchell Goulet, aka Overtime Mitch. Was there a time that you were actually in doubt about us winning that game, and if so, when was it?
Yes, when we went down 1-0. Yeah, nothing about that performance was definitive for me, and I kind of knew that we were going to concede another as well because the flow of the game was just too uncertain. Yeah, yeah, I'll be honest. I thought when we went down 1-0, that was it.
All right, fair enough. I had some doubts too. That was not when it was. I thought when we went down one, we was like, okay, we got this, we got this. When they got that second goal, I was like, oh shit, oh shit. All right, Tommy, same question for you, Tommy McGunner. Were you ever in doubt, and if so, when about the result of that game?
As soon as I forget the guy's name who struck the shot that went off the post.
Yeah,
The position he lined up
Oh
from
yeah.
the angle,
he had
I was like,
so much space.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, that was the first time I thought, hey, maybe we're not going to win this. And then the PKs are another thing. But in the actual run of play, that was the first moment where I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, Freeze didn't even move for it too. He was just like, "Oh, I hope that
Yeah.
doesn't go in," and it did. All right. Well, now before we get to the game itself and all the nitty gritty details, quickly we got to give a quick shout out to our good friends over at Kick It, your one stop shop for all your soccer tennis needs. And since we do not have Tyler Terrence, we are going to throw it to uh, our best fill-in for our promo, Tommy McCabe. Why don't you hit us with why people need to go check out kickit.net?
Mine's a little bit personal this week. So we watched a ton of soccer this weekend, and then you see everyone at the beach, and you're like, oh, it's the weather's been nice in the DC area. It was raining for the past kind of 10 days, thundering, and you get a nice weekend, and the combination of soccer and tennis and a nice day on the beach or kind of out in a park, I think it's a perfect way to combine happy vibes in the summer plus your everyone's favorite sport, soccer. So don't forget the Kick It
There you
promo, which
go.
is a
So everybody check
25%
out
off
kickit.net.
discount. Yeah, there you go.
Attaboy, attaboy. You got there. Listen, this is way better than I would have done if I was just thrown into the deep end like you are. So well done. That's the second time we've thrown you in
The
there
thing
and you've
is,
handled it
you're
well.
not thrown into the deep end. This is your podcast that you're sponsored. In no way are you thrown into the deep end for something like this. But yeah,
No. Tommy's being thrown into the deep end, not me. Not
no, I
me.
know.
We're throwing
I,
him into the
I'm
deep end.
aware that Mitch was
Oh, well,
going after
okay.
me on that one.
Oh, I thought it was at me. I thought it was
Oh
at
no,
me.
no, it
Okay.
was at Sam. It was definitely directed
Fair
at
enough.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right. Yeah. Shoot. I'll take it. I'll own that. And that's why I threw him under the bus because like I'd be even worse than he did. So he did a great job. Well done, Tommy. All right, let's talk about this game. So Costa Rica in the Gold Cup quarterfinals. Um, whew, just zero joy. I came away from that game, from that win, with zero joy, straight, pure, unadulterated relief is all I felt. Part of that is, I will admit, I'm in St. Louis and I'm going to go to the game on Wednesday, and I just really wanted to see the U.S. play there as opposed to Guatemala and Costa Rica. So very selfish reasons, but obviously also we're American fans here. So quickly, Costa. So just the quick lay of the land, how this game went down. We were sort of dominant for most of the game, but Costa Rica scored first. They scored in the 12th minute on a penalty. Our guy Calvo, who Tyler gave us the lowdown on him last episode, he scored the pen. Bad mistake, very bad mistake by our guy Max Arfsten in the box. US, we came back. We basically had all possession from then on. We scored in the 43rd minute. Arfsten with the assist to Diego Luna, who scored on a pretty massive deflection, it must be said. So we went into halftime 1-1. I felt pretty good about us at that point. We scored 2 minutes into the second half. A guy who might know, Max Arfsten, who has had quite a busy game so far, scored in the 47th minute on the assist from Tillman, who was everywhere today. We're up 2-1, feeling good. I was like, we may just sort of see this out. Nope. 71st minute, Costa Rica, just a stupid mistake, terrible defending. Again, Max Arfsten and LDLT together just had a bit of a howler there on the goal. They scored, and then we went to penalties, and all I got to say is Matt Freeze came up big. That boy. Oh, Sam Fam, shout out to our guy, Matty. Well done to him. So, Tommy, I'll throw it to you first. Just on this game, before we take a more big picture view of where we're at right now, just this game, what stood out to you?
Two things. I think the U.S. was in control for a lot of the game for the first, let's say, 75, 80 minutes, and then it was a little chaotic at the end as both teams, the U.S. tried to push for a win. I do think the early goal helped influence that big time for the U.S., and I think the mentality to score right before half and right after halftime, I think is really important for a group that's kind of playing their first knockout game together. And then this is knockout stage international football. Like, this isn't supposed to be enjoyable. You're supposed to suffer. You're supposed to be on your knees. You're supposed to be screaming at the ref, screaming at everything. Your heart rate and your blood pressure should be through the roof. Like, those are the moments as fans and as players in knockout games that you remember. And we got that. And I think every team that goes on to win a major tournament or to enjoy their time together, and like in history, I mean, enjoy their time together, that fans remember, you have moments like this. So I'm happy that this group kind of had their moment, despite all the kind of noise that's been going on around the team and this tournament specifically.
Fair enough. Mitch, anything to add there?
Yeah, I thought going down 1 goal to a inferior Costa Rica team was a real, like, that spurs a team like Costa Rica, and that makes them believe that they're in this game. And for games like this, we cannot be conceding first. I think that had a huge impact on how the rest of the games was played. Like Tommy said, I'm really happy with how we answered and just the energy and the chances that we created. I mean, we had 18 shots, 4 of them on target. Yeah, well, I'd like that number to be a little higher, but like, we're putting pucks on net, and you saw that with the Diego Luna goal. That's a product of getting shots off. I thought we were a little susceptible on the counter toward the end there in the second half, of the second half. Threw a lot of bodies forward, and there were not a lot of guys tracking back. And I think I probably would have liked to see subs earlier in that game. They scored in the 68th minute. I think I would have liked to see some 60th minute subs. That's super easy to say in hindsight, but like, I don't know, there were some guys that were kind of sucking wind and working up and down those sidelines for most of those 60 minutes. So I think it's a good time to get some fresh legs in there. All in all, this is a survive and advance game. This is, how you win these games. Like Tommy said, this is how you win knockout tournaments, especially international knockout tournaments. So like, hopefully we can take this momentum into the next round. Huge for Matt Freeze, just massive. Like, he's had a couple moments earlier in this tournament that some question marks have been brought up. He's had a couple good stops, but nothing to really hang his hat on. This is a performance where like, he was feeling himself when he's putting his tongue out and just kind of shimmying a little bit. Dude, he was feeling himself. That is an unbelievable feeling as a goalkeeper. So I'm really happy for him. On to the next one.
Yeah, as Tommy said, I mean, he I don't know if he was guessing or if he was just seeing what they were doing, but he was going the right way on pretty much every penalty they took. He was right there. So yes, shout out to Matt Freeze. I think he probably will end up getting the MVP of this game. Now, any shout outs individual wise from this game that we want to give? Tommy, you want to go first?
Uh, Tillman for sure.
Yeah.
Um, he's real fun to watch. Everything kind of flowed between him. I think his ability to play off Ajimeng was really nice with give and goes or just kind of movements around the face of a kind of target forward. Um, and not necessarily that he had an outstanding game because I think his counterpart will be in the headlines a bit more. But I thought Freeman in the past couple games has kind of been caught out with some bigger balls, diagonal balls, where he's been left in 1v1 situations that have put the U.S. in vulnerable positions. And I don't think that happened nearly as much this game. And they were a bit more transitional. So I think he's kind of learning on the fly, and he had a killer PK. So that would be one of my more underrated ones.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, he did have a great pen. I'll be honest, when he stepped up to take the pen, I was like, okay, this kid's 20. I don't know if he's ever been in this kind of situation before. I was nervous I was nervous for him and I was nervous for Tolkien. He nailed his very well. Tolkien, obviously, actually, Tolkien's was not a bad shot, but Keeler Navas is a hell of a keeper, and that was a nice save on his. Okay, good shouts on that. I'll sort of piggyback off you and say Ajimang is a guy that I think has caught a lot of shit over the course of the tournament. He just keeps starting games for us. He has scored some goals. I thought just in terms of what we needed from him with the hold up play, with the distribution, relatively speaking, he had some giveaways. But I thought Ajimang was pretty good today. Mitch, what about you?
I mean, we could talk about Max Arfsten. He's involved. He's definitely in there.
Yes, he was.
Can't deny that. There's something to be said for that. I do think he bounced back well. Like to give up a penalty like that, where it didn't look like he maybe saw the Costa Rican player or just kind of wasn't aware of his surroundings. Like it's a tough penalty to give up. It was a penalty though. And then to bounce back the way he did with his goal and assist, like that's huge. So props to him for doing that. I don't know if this puts him in the conversation for a 26 roster, but that's how you bounce back. And then, I mean, I didn't mind Tim Ream. He was fine. Like I don't know. I keep waiting for the moment that that's a I can't use that analogy. I keep waiting for the moment that we have to ask Tim Ream to hang him up, but it hasn't come. I think he works until the 90th minute. He makes smart decisions 98% of the time, and he's a leader out there. Like I really can't fault Tim Ream for anything he's done this tournament, despite the kind of attitude that we've shown collectively towards him as a center back or a starting center back option for us. But like,
Yeah.
he keeps on keeping on, man. You can't fault the guy. That's all I'll say. That's my extent of a shout out.
I mean, we need somebody to play next to Chris Richards, and Tim Ream just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Whether that's who we want there, whether it's who we aspire to be there, I don't know. But he just keeps filling in. And apart from the, I'd say questionable pass back to Matt Freese in the final group stage game, he's been decent.
Yep.
He's been decent. So okay, fair shout. Tillman, obviously, he's just been everywhere at all times throughout this entire tournament. He's definitely been our man of the tournament so far. You got to talk about Arfsten though. I mean, so as Mitch said, there were some good things. There were some bad things. One thing you didn't mention was the second goal that he scored. That we got scored on. The second goal that we conceded. Mitch, you all right there?
He's fighting a mosquito. He's okay. He'll come back. We're good.
Oh, funny. Oh, I see it in the chat. The second goal was him and Luca De La Torre basically had their offensive guy, double teamed on the side, and I thought it was actually more on LDLT that he got by. But listen, if you got two guys on a player like that, you
So
have to stop them. And he just
I have a
right
hot
up.
take on this one.
Okay.
I actually don't like the 1v2 situation for that exact reason. Like
Yeah.
both players give away that inside angle and they're like, oh, it's because the other guy's got it. It's the other guy's, and it's especially around the box,
Yeah.
no one wants to collide into each other. I'd be much happier if one
100%.
guy goes super aggressive and the other one covers the inside angle, which he gets into, whether he cuts him to the end line and you're like, okay, now I can go support, or if he cuts him inside, I can go block the cross. But yeah, the two guys like doubling down, like it's well intentioned, but I think it does more harm than good.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Absolutely. I always loved it. If I was on the wing cutting inside, I loved having two defenders way more than when I saw one defender. I absolutely love that because you do what you did, just split him right down the middle. I did think that Arfsten was less to blame than De La Torre because Arfsten was basically trying to cut him off from going to the end line, whereas you would think that LWT was going to kind of cut him off from splitting him. But yeah, Arfsten's going to catch a lot of blame for that, unfortunately. And he is a defender, whereas Luca De La Torre is midfield. Anything else from this specific game?
Matt Freeze.
Or is it just survive in advance? Matt Freeze. Matt Freeze. Shout out Matt Freeze. That was I mean he's been on he was on this program like I don't even know, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Him and Brendan Aronson were on years and years and years ago. It's so cool to see Freeze just sort of coming into his own here. And I know it started with, he finally got his starting role at NYFC, and now he's doing it on the national team. Shout out Matt Freeze. Just kept grinding.
I feel like I've told this story a couple times on this pod, but I took free kicks on Matt Freeze back when I was like a full-time content creator in college, when he was at Harvard and I was living at my parents' house in Boston. And I mean, he was raw back then, but the dude was just saving everything. Like he would start on one side of the goal and be like, yeah, no, put it up there, I'll go get it. And I mean, I can take a free kick, I swear. The dude saved everything. I think I took we did a video where my friend and I each took 10 penalties on him. I scored 4, my friend scored 5. And like I don't know, man. Like that's not a lot. As a penalty taker, your conversion rate should be 60 to 70%. I scored 4 on him, all of them on frame. He saved 6 of them.
Like, you're on pace to start for Costa Rica, or at least come off the bench for him.
I had a friend text me today and be like, "Hey, do you have any Guatemalan blood? We need a center back." But no, man, Matt Freeze is just, the dude is a shot stopper. And again, I'm really glad he got this moment.
Yeah. He's been working his ass off, and he was the backup at Philly for so many years, and he just kept on grinding, kept on playing. Behind Andre Blake, right? Like one of the best goalkeepers in the league for years and years and years, and finally got a shot at NYCFC, and he's made it good. So shout out to Matt Freeze on that. One thing I will point out about the penalty shootout, I do not understand why Ben White didn't take a penalty when he got inserted into the game in like the 90th minute.
Brian White.
Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Brian White. Ben White. Brian White.
Yeah.
Fucking Arsenal on the brain over here. Brian White. Like I get, like, you don't want a guy that just came into the game. He's sort of cold. You don't want him to take the penalty. Okay, well then don't put him in the game. Maybe, I don't know. I just thought that was a little weird to not have a guy who's a striker, who's a goal scorer, not take a penalty, and like somebody like John Tolkien take it. I thought that was weird, but I don't know. Tommy, any thoughts on that? You're actually a professional soccer player.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the choices for penalty takers at the end, just based on who was on the field, wouldn't have been what I would have chosen. But I don't see these guys take pens before the tournament, and I'm not the one making the strategies, and they won the shootout, so I'm not going to sit here and pick that apart. And I think that my issue is, like, we were in one last night, and the guy who missed the 5th pen took a 2-step run up, and as soon as the whistle was blown, walked up and hit the ball, and it like basically rolled down the middle. I have an issue with that if he was on my team. For Berhalter and Tolkien, the misses they had, they took their time, they were in control of the situation, and they smacked the ball to the corner. Like, I have no issue with someone who's in the moment, they're taking complete control of the situation and they're like just smacking it. They're not doing anything cute. Like, no issue with that.
Yeah. I mean, the one that wasn't saved was Sebastian Berhalter, who did, to be fair, smack the shit out of it. A little too high, a little too hard. But in his defense, I'm really glad that we didn't lose there. I know he would have caught a lot of shit online just because of his dad if we had lost and he had missed a pen. So I thought he played well. He put in a great delivery on one of the free kicks that Chris Richards almost scored. So that would have been nice. But anyway, I thought he played well, and I'm glad for his sake. We play Guatemala on Wednesday in St. Louis at Energizer Park, where I will be. Thank God. We did get a quick little scouting report from our guy Tyler Terrence, who was calling the Guatemala-Canada game. So, as I'm sure everybody knows at this point, Guatemala beat Canada on penalties in the quarterfinal that was played before our game. So, Guatemala is our opponent on Wednesday. Tyler said this about Guatemala. I think Guatemala is good, and Canada aren't nearly as good as people think. Serious issues with chance creation after Honduras, talking about Canada here. Then about Guatemala, he said they're just like us. Watch. Oh wait, no, that was the wrong one. Where was his scouting report? Oh, there. Stubborn, collective pressing, opportunistic, well coached, and highly motivated. Their fullbacks are very, very good. So that'll be interesting to watch. This is, a team that I know that we've said this before, we should beat, but anything can happen, as Canada just found out earlier today. I feel good about this game. I do think that this win was huge for bringing this group together. The one thing I will point out was when Tillman, who earned that penalty in the first half on a foul in the box that went to VAR and they gave the pen, could have been a red card. A lot of people on the Discord chat suggested that red card would have been right. I was very okay with it being a yellow card. I thought red card would have been a little harsh. Tillman then took the penalty and hit the post, didn't score it. And somebody, I think it was the guy who fouled him, was then talking shit to him. And all the US guys just engulfed that guy and came after him. I love seeing that. That's the kind of thing, is this a team? Is this a group that's really together? I thought that was a moment that I really liked seeing, especially since nobody got a red card, which obviously would have changed the dynamic. Anything to add, Mitch?
Yeah. I think on that, you can have a lot of valid criticisms for this group and this roster in particular. Energy is not one of them. Desire to go out there and win is not one of them. I felt like everybody that started and got subbed on wanted to make the most of their minutes out there and showed that with body language, with tracking back, with making runs, with just overall vibe. You can't fault them for that. And those are the little things that see you through in a knockout tournament like this. So yeah, I want to echo that. I really did enjoy that as well. Coming to a player's defense and, getting appropriately involved in a scuffle like that and then keeping your head down and going back and playing the game. So I want to echo that. I really did enjoy that.
Yep. Shout out. So Jared in the chat, Guatemala has 3 former U.S. men's national team players, Rubio, Herrera, and Rivera. Motivated, as he said. That's a fair point. Listen, I think everybody is always
who was the third one? It was Rubio, Herrera, and Rivera. Yeah.
Yep. So I guess I'm sure that they want nothing more than to spank us on Wednesday. I'm sure it'll be a good game. We'll see. All right. we are going to skip ahead. We're not really going to talk about the rest of the Gold Cup or Club World Cup on this pod. We will be back with that soon enough. We on the other side of the draw is, of course, Mexico, who got by Saudi Arabia in their quarterfinal. Who do they play? I'm blanking on who Mexico plays on Wednesday.
Is it Honduras or it's Honduras or Panama?
It's Honduras. Yep. It's Honduras. Honduras outlasted Panama. So that's on the other side of the draw. They play out in San Francisco, I believe. So we will see. Well, hopefully, God willing, we see the winner of that on, I believe, Sunday in the final. But we'll move ahead. We'll skip ahead to stoppage time. We'll go right to the good stuff here. So we got to start, of course, where we always start. Let's get the hat on. Ivan Toney's best bets. And we probably would be skipping this, except for one thing. We went 5-0 last week, boys and girls. We dug deep. We found some winners. We went 5-0. And not only did we go 5-0, but all the wins had at least 4 goals. Some of them had 5, 6, and 7. And that is what we love to see from the Ivan Toney's best bets. So here we will give you one more week. Again, you got to dig real deep. We're in the summer months here. You got to find the third division of Paraguay and that sort of thing. So we were going to go on Wednesday. Remember, 5-a-side, overtrain, 1 a day. These are all going over. Wednesday, we're going to Finland, the top division, where VPS is hosting Haka. Thursday, we're going to the Icelandic second division, where Grindavik is hosting Njarðvík. Brilliant pronunciation, if I do say so myself. Friday, we're going to MLS, where Dallas is hosting Minnesota United. Saturday, Faroe Islands, the Premier League. Tjorvjori, not so brilliant pronunciation, by the way. NSI Runavik. Tjorvjorvi and NSI Runavik. Sunday, we are finishing up with the Estonian top division with Flora Tallinn hosting Nam JK Kalju. So there you go. Listen, I know I don't necessarily know how to pronounce them, but I know that they're going to score a bunch of goals. So everybody get on board. Let's go win some monies. Now we'll finish up real quick with with everybody's favorite segment, GOAWs time. I know, Mitch, your MVP of the episode is probably going to be that mosquito that's been just absolutely
I just got it.
renting space in your brain this whole episode.
Yeah.
But outside of the mosquito, where are we going with GOAWs?
Yeah, I have kind of a co-joined GOA this week. And it's 2 players that you never thought would share the field. It's Edgar Davids and Mike Grella. And they shared the field at Steve Nash's Showdown event in New York earlier this week. It was a hell of an event. He always puts on a good show. Lots of celebs there. NBA players, former MLS players, U.S. Women's National Team legends, really good footy. But there were 2 moments, I'll say, from the event that went viral, both nutmegs. Grella, who, Sam, I'm sure you saw and maybe gave him shit for, got megs twice by Mehdi Belushi, back to back within the space of a second. It was bad, but Grella was a great sport about it. He actually had like a chest mounted GoPro on, and I can't wait to see that footage. But he was a good sport about it. He knew, hey, sub me off. I need to get out of here. It was a really cool moment. And then Edgar Davids, on the other hand, was not there to make friends. He didn't have. I mean, this is a legend of the game, mind you. So I'm going to kind of tiptoe around this. He didn't really want to be there. And he was, as the kids say, clip farming, where anytime he would get the ball, play would stop, and he would try to do 7 different Aka combinations and flicks and shit. And that's what a street event like this is for. But it got to a point where it was all right, dude, pass the ball. You haven't gotten one of these off in an hour and a half. Let's move the ball a little bit. And then towards the end, the very, very last game, he got dropped by a 11, 12-year-old girl. Steve Nash passed her the ball, and she took 2 touches, and Edgar Davids was on his ass. And the entire place went nuts. He was a kind of a good sport about it, but you could tell he was genuinely upset at it. He had not had a good performance there. and everybody wanted him to get a clip off, but the dude just didn't show out. So maybe he'll turn around and play well in the next charity one. I don't know, but Mike Grella and Edgar Davids, two legends.
You think he's gonna show up to the next one?
I think he needs to redeem himself at this point.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I saw somebody that, you know, they have guys that are there for content. Like I'm sure you were, but they were going around interviewing some of the guys, and somebody tried to interview Edgar Davids after the game, and
Yeah,
that
that's my
was
friend
like,
Raheem. Yeah,
nah,
he
I'm
that was
not
before
Raheem
the
Taylor
game.
Parks.
Oh, that was rough.
Rahimovich, as he's called. Yeah, he that was before the game, and dude, he just wasn't interested whatsoever.
That was before he actually got embarrassed too. Yikes, that's unfortunate. All right, well, you know, got to show up next time to get your comeuppance. Tommy, GOAWs, what do you got for us?
My first one was Club World Cup in the sense of watching Man City just like throw out different variations of what they're gonna do, different lineups, and you're like, these guys are gonna be scary good and scary versatile. And it's been fun to try to figure out like what they're doing and have Rodri back with that. And then of that same mind, Real Madrid, when they were playing Salzburg, there were moments in that game, and I didn't watch the whole game. I watched maybe 30 minutes where they kind of sat in like a 5-3-2, and this is without Mbappe. And you're thinking that if they just put Mbappe and Vinicius as the front two in that, how quickly they could counter with some of the passing ability of Bellingham, Trent, and they actually scored a really nice goal. And so that's one Goa, and then the second one is myself for scoring my first own goal of my career.
Right off the dome.
Did you not see this, Mitch?
No, I didn't see your own goal. Tell a little bit of a story about it.
Yeah, I'll tell it. So we played Louisville on Wednesday. Louisville's game plan was basically like, let's sit really deep and let's try to get him in transition / set pieces. Among those set pieces was long throws. We get scored on in the first half off a long throw, 1-1. We get a red card right before half, and then I'd say like 15 minutes in the second half, we give up another long throw, and I'm marking someone like around the PK spot, and this guy has a weapon. He's like 6'6", throws it into the box. Two of our guys go up for the header, and they like try to snap head it like this, and it skims off their forehead and hits me in my ear. Like they made good contact. Like my ear is like when I go like this, it's like sore. It was I kid you not. It was like hot. You know when you get like smacked with the ball and it's just like hot and red.
Yeah.
It was that. It was ringing for a bit. So yeah, I was like, God damn it. And as I was facing my own goal because I was following my man, and I was like, he was a little bit smaller than me, so his head's like right here, so it like just misses his head and hits mine.
Damn.
And I'm facing my own goal, and the only visual I have is it like hitting the side of my head and then going this way, and I'm like, God damn it, that's going in my goal. And I tried to like throw myself. I tried to matrix it too. I'm just not fast enough to matrix it. I tried to like throw myself to the ground, and then it just ends up me hitting the ball in and lying on the ground. So yeah, that sucked.
Damn.
Yeah, first one. So
well, it's good. I mean, actually, it's kind of impressive. That's your first own goal ever. I mean,
actually,
I don't know if I ever had one, but I also played striker, so I didn't play defense.
First own goal, 11v11. There was like in 6th or 7th grade, there was a winter where I was playing like 7v7 indoor, but on turf with these small goals. I gave up like 4 own goals that were all just like deflections. Like someone's just like, you know, those set pieces that they do in indoor, they just whip the shit out of the ball across the goal. And I'm like hitting it into my own goal. It's like one winter, and my dad didn't let that go for a bit.
Those are small quarters. That's a little forgivable. But
still,
I had one big play. It was in a semifinal. I had one. I guess it wouldn't be credited as my own goal, but corner kick cleared the ball into my teammate's butt and just bounced right in from there. I probably could have taken a touch and like taken it outside, but I just wanted to put my foot through it and get out of the area, and went right
See,
into my teammate's ass.
That should be your own goal.
I think so too. I was fully
Yeah.
at fault for it. Yeah. So I'm gonna count that as my own goal.
Shout out, you guys for owning that one. This is why you don't play defense, guys. Someday you'll learn that. And also Carter, shout out. He asked in the Discord chat, anywhere you can watch that Edgar Davids clip. I'm sure you can get it on Mitch's Overtime FC page. I'm sure it's probably there multiple times. And if you want to get in the Discord chat, by the way, get in the Sam's Army Patreon. You get the Discord chat, you get the extra bonus episodes, and we get the Tommy Talking Tactics blogs, which I'm sure will come back probably with Man City. And by the way, just to piggyback on your point, Man City is going to be scary as fuck this season. Oh my God. All right. I will do the honors of the final GOA here. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Ousmane Dembele, who after the PSG Inter Miami game today, not only did he switch jerseys or get Messi's jersey, he also got Sergio Busquets' jersey. He also got Jordi Alba's jersey. I mean, I get it. That's kind of a cool flex.
Well, he actually played with all.
You're like, bro, what the fuck?
He played with all of them.
I know, but still, I know. I get it.
Those guys give out like 6 jerseys a game anyway. No? They give out like 4 jerseys a game. So.
That's fair. It felt like a little much, just a little bit much. But my actual goal is going to go to David Bobo the Clown Sneed of V42, who is the journalist who wrote the story suggesting that Pochettino had specifically interviewed with Brentford for their job, which, first of all, Pochettino came out within 24 hours and he's like, yeah, I absolutely have not talked to that club, and that's a complete bullshit. So number one, shout out to Pochettino for clarifying things, and Doug McIntyre for Fox, who was the one who, got Pochettino on the record for that. But this guy, David Bobo the Clown Sneed, brother, get your shit together, man. You absolutely know that this was inflammatory, what you were putting in your story, and it was absolutely for clicks and engagement, because you knew the U.S. men's national team fan base, who tends to get up in arms about little things like that. We're going to get up in arms, and we did. We blew our top. And it was a complete lie, and you're a fucking clown. So get a fucking life. That's all I got to say. All right. There we go. We'll be back probably soon after Wednesday's game against I already forgot who we're playing. Guatemala. We play Guatemala on Wednesday. We'll be back probably soon after that. Tommy, Mitchell, thank you guys for hopping on. Tyler and Mikey will be back soon enough. Bigger, better, faster, stronger. See you guys then. Cheers.